And we're on. Hey, Tanya, thank you so much for joining us. I learned about you being a foster carer through your social media photos, which are amazing. I think whenever I need a bit of a pick-me-up, I always have a little flick through your dog pictures because it's so dopamine hit. I think I said to you yesterday, I said to you yesterday that that collage that I made was the hardest one that I've ever made because I was painting over wanting to have too many photos in it. Anyway, so could you tell us, how did you get into fostering greyhounds?
Well, it's actually using the power of Facebook. So the main reason that I got into it was I got tagged in some posts. So there were a couple of rescues who were putting up. So if you follow certain pages, you'll see it come up. But a couple of friends from Sydney actually just tagged me in it and asked me if I could do it because I just moved to Melbourne. I just moved into an apartment, and I actually thought, well, a greyhound is actually quite a big dog. How am I going to fit that in an apartment? And then you do a bit of Googling and you find out a bit more about them. And yeah, they're really great for apartments. And they've definitely proved that over the time that I've had them.
Yeah, it's surprising, isn't it, when you think about that? But I suppose their race life sprint kind of exercise thing would be good for apartments. Is that the deal kind of thing?
Well, the thing is, they are just sprinters. So they're very short bursts of energy. Then they're 22 hours a day they're asleep pretty much. It's really quite surprising how much they do sleep.
Wow. How many have you rescued?
So I have had 10 dogs in total so far. I had 7 through one group and 3 through a different group. The 3 I had most recently were during the lockdowns, and that really helped me get through that period. So I really appreciate it then. But yeah, they also do a bit of volunteer work. So you go to adoption days, or you can go out to some of the kennels, you can do some enrichment and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, 10 have actually been in my home.
Wow. And how do you fit this into your schedule? Because you spin a lot of plates. I know you're super active. You got a great professional career going, and then you do this as well. How do you manage it?
So there's 2 ways to look at. So there's the day-to-day routine that you need to fit them into, but then there's also the long-term routine as well. So one of the main reasons that I actually choose fostering is that I like to travel a fair bit. So if I'm going interstate and pre-COVID going overseas and all that kind of stuff, is that having a dog all the time is hard to find someone to look after them and all that kind of stuff. So having a foster, you only have them between 3 weeks and a little bit longer, depending on if you have to have them until they're adopted. And so then you can just have a dog for a certain amount of time to fit in around that. So if you know you're going away, then you go, well, okay, well, I can have a dog from now, and then I'll have a break for maybe a couple of weeks, and then I'll get another dog after that. So that works really well. And then there's the day-to-day as well. So I like to train quite a bit. So going to the gym is quite important to me. So I want to make sure that I've got an hour or so of that kind of thing. So prioritizing that in the morning. And obviously if I work full time, before COVID, now we're working from home, it's different, but going into the office, it's just making sure that the dog is fed in the morning, they get their exercise in the morning, they've got enrichment for the day. So that could be a Kong or something with a little bit of peanut butter or something like that, or just a snuffle mat or things like that keep them occupied for the day. And then you come home and you walk them, and the walks become very important, and then making sure they've got the love and affection that they need. So it does work. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, wow. But that is a really good and interesting way to look at it. And what's something surprising about that you've learned about greyhounds or the foster process that people might not have thought of?
Well, the thing about everything about the greyhound is surprising, I think. I think they're a really unique breed. So there's lots of little quirky habits that they have that I really haven't seen in other breeds. So yeah, just lots of things their whole full body shake, where they they start from the head and they end in their butt, just shaking their whole body when they get up, big stretches all the time. Their happy chitters is one of those things where you think when I first saw it happen, I was I think he's really cold, I don't know what's going on, but it actually means that they're really excited and they're really comfortable. So it's a really beautiful thing, because they are excited about you going to pat them, or they're excited about something happening, they're excited about getting fed. So that means that they're comfortable and they're happy. So yeah. And then I guess the most surprising thing was how much they sleep and how little exercise they really need. So you do think that they're these athletic dogs that come from a sporting background, but once they're in the home, they're just I want to sleep. And also they're hilarious when they sleep too. They do a lot of funny stuff when they're asleep.
I know, it was really hard not to put all of the pictures that you sent me of them with
tongues out.
So cute. Yeah, so that's great. And it is, I see, like at the moment with lockdown and things, I've seen so many people getting dogs like red kelpies and all of these, which are beautiful dogs, but I know from living on property and having them, they need a lot of exercise and a lot of stimulation. And I'm kind of like biting my fingers thinking, I hope that this works out for everyone. But it sounds like greyhounds are a perfect kind of low maintenance dog.
Yeah, and I think people are starting to discover that. Like they're really quite popular. Like they are really kind of like every time I walk outside, I think I see a greyhound these days, which is really really good because there's a lot of them, and it continues to happen because obviously they come from like the racing, breeding, and all that kind of stuff. So there's a continual dogs that need to be rescued from that environment. So it's never ending.
Can you give me spring a new one on you, but can you give us a little bit of an insight into that issue with greyhounds? Like I know that there was a while ago, I was really excited because it sounded like they were kind of going to be banning certain aspects of racing or whatever. And I know that there is I don't know enough. You would have greater insight, but yeah, like what is the numbers, their treatment?
I'm definitely not an expert. I am just a foster care loves dogs. But yeah, I guess like the main issues with racing and all that kind of stuff is like there are a few bad eggs. So like there are some really good trainers out there that like they do the right thing. They love their dogs. They treat them like their own family. But there are a few bad eggs and they ruin it for the rest of them. So, you know, you're going to find there's a big gap between I guess opinions about that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's just you hear about like live baiting where they actually use like live rabbits and stuff like that, so it's like a bit of animal cruelty going on there. And we do see that when they like there are certain rescues that do go out to particular breeders, and they occasionally will take like a phone or something and take a video like kind of secretly almost, and you can see the I guess the way that their kennels are set up and how filthy they are and how many dogs there are. And when they come into the foster care system, they're really, really skinny, or they've got some kind of like skin disease or something like that. So there's just a few bad eggs that make it really worrying. And I guess it's if they don't fix it, then the whole thing really should go, because, you know, if there's going to be that like small amount of bad ones and the good ones aren't making a difference to that, then it's.
And I suppose, I mean, that's much like breeding other breeds as well. And we've just rescued Gnarly, who was from a terrible breeder that, you know, dumped her and she had chemical burns on her and things. But then, you know, you do see other breeders that do it right. And if you've got someone who's thinking about maybe going into this foster caring, and I think it's great from learning this, you know, that they are a pretty low maintenance dog, but you would have to obviously, you know, be good with animals and be caring and patient and things. But if someone's thinking about fostering greyhounds, what would you advise them?
Get in contact with rescue groups. There's like a whole support community out there. I think once you're into greyhounds, you discover like how wide the community is and how much support there is out there. There's rescue groups, they have Facebook groups, they've got Facebook pages. There's so many, I guess, foster carers or people that have already adopted a dog themselves who are more than happy to talk about their experience, to introduce you to the dogs, to tell you how to do it. If you do decide to do it, there are other foster carers there who will also, sometimes you do meetups and all that kind of stuff, just to talk about what your experience is like, or to ask questions and all that kind of stuff. It really is. It's a huge community that is so passionate about saving these animals that they would do anything to bring you in and to help you to do it.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you so much, Tanya. It's really great. And I hope that you've inspired some people, because it's really great work that you're doing.
Oh, thanks. I really hope so too.
We'll see you next time. Bye.
All right.